Thank you for joining us for this episode of That Solo Life, the podcast for PR pros and marketers who work for themselves. People like me, Michelle Kane with Voice Matters, and my wonderful co-host Karen Swim of Solo PR Pro. Hi, Karen. How are you doing today?
Hey, Michelle. I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. We are well into January, and whether you are taking that as dry or liquid, we we are here in the new year finally.
Yeah.
We're a couple of episodes in already by now, and yeah, just ready to talk shop and hopefully give our wonderful listeners some giggles and some smarts.
We hope
Uh,
so.
we do hope so. Um, we were talking before this about this topic, and it's it's an ongoing, I don't want to say issue or desire, right? As we try to serve our clients as best we can, and we're only as good as the information we have and or the influence that we can have. So one of the important things we need to do is really have access to the C-suite. And
100%.
yeah, have that influence and really that back and forth, because those are the people at the end of the day, if they're looking at the budget and going, well, we didn't get the results we wanted. Well, newsflash, we need to know what you want first.
Yeah, but being us, we're not going to just talk about the bare bones of that topic because
Right.
I think we all know that. We
Yeah.
know that we need to have access to the C-suite. It
Right.
gives us engagements that are richer. We actually get paid more money when we have a seat at the table. So we know that we need that seat at the table. But realistically, we also know that sometimes we're dealing with organizations where that access is blocked, not
Yes.
because of who we are or our value, but because of internal politics, because of the way that the organization is set up. And so sometimes we have to be creative in order to get what we need. And that includes information to do our job. So the
Yeah.
practical, like thought leadership content, but also the business and the
Right.
insights into the business, because you can't simply take what sometimes your marketing contact. So many times it's the CMO that has ownership of the PR function. You can't simply take what the CMO is saying is important, because the marketing team's metrics and reports may not really be getting the engagement from the C-suite that they want either. You need to hear from different executives in the business for various reasons, and sometimes that is hard. So what do you do?
Yeah. Yeah. That is the challenge. Um, I think starting that dialogue, right? Asking the right questions, even if it is of the CMO to start with, or suggesting, well, hey, what are your goals this quarter? Has anything come out of your meetings? Trying to get in that way,
Yes.
um, just by asking them pointed questions, and again, not in a way that might make them feel insecure or be off-putting, of course, but going after the answers that we need, even if it doesn't mean that we have that literal seat at the table as of yet.
I love that idea. It's almost like a step ladder approach where
Yeah.
you're starting where you are and you're starting to have those conversations and involving them. I think another thing that you can do is to talk with your current contact about,
Mhm.
moving forward in 2025, we really want to make sure that we are supporting the goals that are most meaningful to you
Yes.
and in your role, in your team's role. Would it be possible for us to look at a way to better align not only our efforts, but how we report things? Because we want to make sure that what we're doing impacts the areas that are most meaningful to you. So be willing to talk about those things. Be willing
Mhm.
to talk marketing talk with
Yeah.
your CMOs, speak in their language, the same way that you would speak in the CEO's language, because the deeper that you can get into those conversations, it can open the door to the other conversations and the other insights from within the organization.
Yeah, that is so, so true. And it is something that I make a point of doing with my clients, of, not just going on okay, we're rolling along. Your goals are your goals, grow the business, da da da. But it's like, well, wait a second. Is growing this aspect still your goal? Is this and that could be catching me up to it. In some cases it could be them saying like, well, yeah, you know what? Let's think about that. It could go a number of ways, but don't assume that the benchmarks are going to just remain the same all the time. And I don't mean like the day to day or the quarter to
Yes.
quarter, just the overarching themes of the desires of the business, because the external world and external factors are ever changing and impacting businesses in different ways at such a rate that we all need to be more nimble, and we have to talk about it.
Yes. I think we also all have had, or maybe have even currently, those clients where your reporting gets rolled up into a broader report. And then
Mm,
the CMO, it's typically the CMO or vice president of marketing or someone from marketing is the point person, and they present that to the executive leadership team.
yeah.
I think it's really good to ask to see that entire report. Hey, is that
Mm,
something that you can share with us as well so that we understand
yeah.
how you report this? Ask them about their reporting and their metrics. What things are you benchmarking? What things were the leaders most interested in? What kinds of questions did they ask you? Because then that's going to give you a clue as to whether they're really engaged with what marketing does.
Right. Right.
Whether we like it or not, and we understand that marketing and PR work together and that we do need to be integrated, but they are separate disciplines. Whatever the executives think about marketing, they think about you too.
Yeah.
Good, bad, ugly, or neutral. So if they've got shine, you've got shine. And if they don't, then you're kind of lumped in with them. So it's
Yeah.
really important to make sure that we are partnering with our, folks in marketing so that we all win. And I think we all understand that these jobs are technical and specialized, and that can easily get glossed over where,
Yeah.
leaders that don't do these jobs feel like, well, why can't one person do social media and the email newsletters and the branding and the paid campaigns? And by the way, manage the PR team, because you've just asked for a lot of technical
Yeah.
and functional skill areas to be
Yeah.
grouped together in one big giant thing.
Yeah.
Almost like asking the CEO to also be the CFO and the CTO. Can you do that?
Hmm. Yeah. No. 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 And especially, in organizations of size, to think that they can just have a department head of one and
Yes.
just handle it. And it's like that's just you're just setting yourself up for disappointment and
Yeah.
frustration. And yes, these things cost money. Eh,
Yeah. I think we're going to hear this a lot in 2025, that it's not going to be about quantity. It's not the quantity of media results. It's not the quantity of hours. We really have to get deeper into quality and
Yeah.
deliver on the things that are most important. And
Yeah.
I think because, we've suffered from we've suffered from this, evolution in the entire workforce, since the pandemic, where everything was like, it was all on like mass quantities and just like going hard and being productive. And then there
Yeah.
was the recovery period, and we had way too many people because we, staffed up and everything was bigger, better. And now it's kind of like going from the state of Texas where everything's huge. Sorry, Texas, this is not a negative reference, to, going down to Rhode Island
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
really focusing and niching. And we're going to have a guest that's going to talk about this in one area of our
Hmm.
communications in the next week or two. But I think so it's important to ask the quality questions, have quality conversations, and then really focus in on what really matters to the business. So we may be doing less per client in terms of task, because that's not how we're going to win. We're not
Right.
going to win, success for our clients. We're not going to win those long-term client relationships with volume. We're going to
Right.
do it with quality results that speak. There was a newsletter that went out from Jeannie Dietrich, and there was a line that I loved because it's something that I think we all should be focusing in on. It's not that, hey, we got, 72 media mentions, but hey, we got these 72 media mentions and X amount of, your target personas engage with this. And then of that, X amount of them went on to want a demo or have a sales call. So again, quality.
Exactly.
So maybe
Yeah,
your piece of media drove 5 new leads, and you can track that using the right metrics, but those 5 new leads might be worth, $20 million. So
exactly. Exactly. It's not the fire hose. It's the meaningful
yes,
connection. And,
yes,
and that's been a theme for a long time that I know
yes,
we've all, you know, been striving for, but I think now it's more important than ever. This is not a direct correlation, but I saw several statements from small businesses, small retail shops who really were vulnerable, and they shared how it was a really difficult year. Not necessarily because of the price of things or whatever, but the foot traffic was just down. And
yeah,
I know for a lot of us, there's belt tightening, but I know for myself, especially coming out of the pandemic, it's bad habits. And I
yeah,
mean bad as in, yeah, you know what? I used to pop into your store every couple of months and I just haven't been. No reason other than I have to leave the house. So
yeah,
it's just being cognizant of the way all of us have changed, and this includes the people we're trying to reach for our clients in these ways. Just being cognizant of that, and again, just like we need to ask the pointed questions, and in that should be a question of, hey, let's not presume that our customers' behavior or your target audience's behavior has remained the same since 2020 or even 2022.
yeah.
And that could certainly impact how we go about things.
I agree. It's almost like I feel like this is the year that we slow down, that we're
Mhm.
more thoughtful, more intentional. We're
Yeah.
not on all of the social media channels. We're not trying to read all of the articles. We're no longer skimming things. We're taking deeper dives into the things that really matter. And I think it's a good approach to take with our work. I
Hmm.
love the example about the local shop owners too, because I
Hmm.
feel that brick and mortar businesses have an opportunity, but, at the center of all of this is creating those relationships that are meaningful too, with our
Yes.
audiences, with our
Yep.
clients. That really matters because we, as, communicators, talk a lot about building trust externally, but I think we also have to build trust internally with our clients. And doing
Hmm.
that is showing them how what we do impacts their lives. I the shopping one is good because in the pandemic, we were forced to do everything online.
Yeah.
Everybody had to make that pivot. If they weren't already there, they had to get into the e-commerce game just to survive. So we did get lazy. Click, point, and
Yeah.
it's delivered to my door. But in reality, I think we can look back and say, I bought a lot of stuff that ended up being junk that I didn't use, didn't need. Some of it was good quality, some of it was it was meh.
Yeah.
How about now we get to the belt tightening years because the prices of things have forced everyone to
Hmm.
slow down and really think. But that approach works even when prices normalize or when you have more revenue
Oh,
at your gates.
totally.
Really be more thoughtful. Would you rather pop into a brick and mortar shop twice a year and get stuff that really matters to you, that's really meaningful, where you get to have these conversations with small business owners or
Yeah.
shop local and support your community? Or do you want 10 pointless point and click trips
Yeah.
through the online stores where half of the stuff you're not using and you end up having to figure out how to purge your life of it anyway?
Yeah. And that all speaks to forging that relationship, right? It's
Yeah.
we all have those needs in our lives of, hey, what's a good vendor for this, that, or the other.
Yes.
And you get comfort from knowing, okay, I can trust that one and that one and that one. And that's half the battle. So I think that's our challenge, to continue to get our clients on board with that. Not that they aren't, but to just really make that one of the pillars that we're seeking to, strengthen in this new year.
I agree.
Well, there we go. That's another episode that you've joined us for, and we're so glad you did. Please check out soloprpro.com because, Karen, I think I saw that membership is open again.
Membership is definitely open and it will
Yay.
be open because we need you all and we feel like you need us. We need community
Yeah.
um, more than ever now. It's so important. And so yeah, pop over, join, hang out with us, share. We also have a members only chat coming up this Thursday, which is the date is
Yes.
January 9th, but don't quote me on the day of the week. Oh, wait, that will have passed by the
It
time
will
this
have passed, but there will be more. There will
there
be
will be
more. We're
more.
we're we're just tantalizing you all, saying, "Ha we chatted."
We are. I
It's all
lost track
good.
of my days and times, but
It's all
we
good.
will have had our first one
But there will be
and there will
more.
be more to come.
Yeah. So, and if you got something out of our time together today, please share it around. That would just make our day and just help strengthen the content that we bring to you, which is what we're all about. So we thank you. And until next time, thanks for listening to That's Solo Life.